The Social Security Administration's chief data officer, Charles Borges, submitted a, quote, involuntary resignation yesterday after he said in an email obtained by NBC that he faced intolerable work conditions and retaliation after his whistleblower complaint about an alleged major security risk went public. He alleged that DOJ uploaded a copy of a critical Social Security database to a vulnerable cloud server in June, and by doing so, put the personal information of everyone who has ever applied for a Social Security number at risk. That means all of us. According to the complaint, the database includes people's full names, birth date, citizenship, phone numbers, addresses, and other details. Borges warned, quote, should bad actors gain access to this cloud environment, Americans may be susceptible to widespread identity theft, may lose vital health care and food benefits, and the government may be responsible for reissuing every American new Social Security numbers at great cost. To be clear, Borges does not indicate the database was breached at this point. The Social Security Administration told NBC they can't comment on personnel matters and that they take all whistleblower complaints seriously. Earlier this week, they maintained that all personal data is secure and walled off from the internet. Former DOJ pardon attorney and federal public defender Liz Oyer is back with us. Liz, I think the thing that was so surprising to me is he seems like, and it's sort of unclear if he felt so pressured that he left, if he felt like someone told him that he needed to resign. It's unclear at this point. But this is a country that was supposed to protect whistleblowers. And when you whistleblow and you go through the actual process and that process, you are supposed to be protected from influence from leaving your job. That seems to not have happened here, according to him.
That's exactly right. Whistleblowers have statutory protections, and those protections are being disregarded by the government in a way that they never have before. There are numerous federal employees who have raised whistleblower complaints and who have faced retaliation for raising those concerns. I think that we, the people, should be heartened by the fact that there are still people within our federal government who are willing to stand up for what they believe is just and right, even knowing that they could face personal consequences. But right now, the position that our government is taking is that people can be fired, let go, and subject to adverse working consequences as a result of blowing the whistle on conduct that is illegal, unethical, and immoral.
I mean, what happens next? Obviously, there's his lawyer and they're in an ongoing lawsuit. But, I mean, is there any way for accountability? I know that typically inspectors general look into this, but we know that the president fired a whole host of inspectors general earlier on at the start of this year. So do you have confidence that they will start investigating this, or that someone else, Congress, will look into this?
Every protection in place for whistleblowers is really incapacitated right now. At least 20 inspectors general have been fired. Their job is to look into this type of misconduct, and nobody has replaced them in most of those instances. Congress is doing nothing with the whistleblower complaints that are being submitted to them. The Congress is currently controlled by Republicans, and they are not investigating these complaints. And the courts have really broken down. I actually have my own litigation over my termination from the Department of Justice, which is required to be pursued through an administrative body called the Merit Systems Protection Board. And that body is absolutely paralyzed because it's overloaded with claims of people who've been unlawfully, wrongfully terminated or retaliated against. And to make it worse, the government agencies are intentionally obstructing and delaying the resolution of those proceedings so that people have, in effect, no actual recourse. The system is really broken right now.
I covered congressional investigations, a lot of whistleblowers for the past 7 years. I mean, it does feel like, though, Democrats, especially those involved with oversight, even though they're in the minority and they don't have subpoena power, could be doing more around whistleblowers and information that former Trump administration employees and civil servants, there's a ton of them that are no longer employed, could be doing with the information that they have. I mean, do you have any recommendations, best practices for these staffers and the way that they are fielding this torrent of information?
I agree with you that the Democrats could be doing more. They have held a couple of hearings, which they're calling sort of bicameral shadow hearings. That's not a great name. But what I think the Democrats need to focus on is persuading the American people that these actions are really dangerous to everyone. These are not Democrat issues. These are not partisan issues. These are issues that relate to our own safety. Nobody wants their information to be compromised by being placed on the cloud. That is an absolute nightmare to have your Social Security information compromised. So I think the Democrats could be doing a better job of persuading Americans, and ideally together with some Republicans, that we need to have checks and protections for people who are whistleblowers.
This shouldn't be a surprise, though, right, that this thing happened. We don't know if the data has been breached, but in an NPR report, this is from June 6th, the Supreme Court grants DOJ access to confidential Social Security records, and Justice Jackson at the time said this was a risk. She said, with today's decision, it seems as if the court has truly lost its moorings. In the process, she added, the court is creating grave privacy risks for millions of Americans. We could have seen this coming, Liz.
Yeah, so I think that what this illustrates is that DOJ and the administration generally, they're not really interested in solving problems. They're not taking the approach to solving fraud, waste, and abuse that would actually have the potential to do good. They're just coming in with a wrecking ball and interfering in the business of agencies without any planning and in a way that is really detrimental to the people of the United States.
Justice Jackson with some forward-looking there. Trust black women, as we always say.
Yeah, I mean, this is also, this feels so long ago now, but this is why we saw all these extremely high-level resignations from people at Treasury Department, IRS, places that safeguard our most private, sensitive information. Let's hope they have two-factor authentication. Liz Oyer, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.